up. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out. Does my face look fuzzy on here? Am I not clear?
No.
No? Okay, let's see. I was trying to hide that messy corner, but you all might have to see it. You know how we angle
If
it,
you get,
angle it a
you got a
certain way.
beautiful glow.
Oh, okay. I'll go with
If
the
you get a
glow.
little closer
A little closer?
to the cabinet, because the blinds make it really bright.
Okay. The light does help. Yeah, it did help. You can turn the fan on too. Yeah, we're going to start in 1 minute with workers' rights first and wellness. Leah, can you put the title of the workshop in the chat, please?
So I'll be putting the title in right into the chat here. Okay, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me pretty good. This is a full, beautiful Saturday. I've got 3 active boys here, preteens bustling on their way out to share an evening at Universal Studios. So let's send them lots of love and light. Yes, so I'm excited and I'm looking forward to the magic of you. But first, before we get into that, we want to highlight how we're able to do these programs and how we're able to get the funding to keep this going. So again, this is going to be a workers' rights presentation. We are partnered with CWOP, and CWOP stands for California Outreach Project, California Worker Outreach Project. And with Earth Lodge, we have a program that says work shouldn't have to hurt. You should feel well at work because you're there. Can you hear me? Oh, let me just mute a couple participants. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Gonna mute. And if you could just mute yourself, this won't take long, but I will mute you. Just give me a second. All right. Okay. All right, back into this presentation. We want to uplift our communities knowing that we do have rights. When we come into work, we want to feel good. If there's any type of harassment that takes place, any type of uncomfortability, you have rights to speak out. You have rights. Let me just mute. Okay. And I will also be dropping the link in the chat. Okay. After 2020, we've witnessed how Black workers, women workers, and queer workers bore an exponential brunt of the pandemic. We witnessed the rise of the anti-Black violence and the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. We saw a familiar story, last hired, first fired, play out again. These experiences created a deep workplace trauma in our communities. When we listen to queer workers tell their story, it's oftentimes of feeling afraid of actually speaking out. But we want to let you know that we have several partners. You can come to us. You can email me directly in the chat at aaliyahjavon@earthlodge.org, and we will help you to get a representative that you need working with California Worker Outreach Project. You should feel safe, you should feel loved, and you should feel appreciated when you are at work. You should feel like, hey, these people appreciate me and I'm happy to be here because it is an exchange. So if you know of anyone who may need training in any type of worker situation where they're like, I don't know if this is wrong, but it feels wrong, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can get you to the appropriate organizations and move forward, because you are amazing and you should feel amazing anywhere that you are. because what you bring is magic, and your magic should be protected. And we want to help you with that. So thank you for taking the time out. If you have any questions, feel free again to email me. And I will put the links in the chat as well. Thank you. Okay, we're going to get started in about 1 minute. It is 10:09. I'm going to play some music for you, and then I believe Queen is going to get us started at 10:10. Thank you.
Okay, Aaliyah, is it possible to pull the tongue up on the screen, that image? Is it possible to share that image? I wanted to jump right into have some imagery about what we're talking about today.
I'm going to pull it up now.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for
Mhm.
coming. Thank you for taking the time out of your morning to come and be with us. This is our first offering for Healing into the Holidays. We have several different offerings, and they're all donation only. If you have to give, you can give. If you do not have, that's fine too. It came about as a way for us to um, offset some of the loneliness, isolation, suicide that was happening during the holidays. And so we feel this is a way that we can offer tools to the community to better um, navigate through these holidays, and also to redefine what they mean for you. I mean, some of you are off work, so take that time and recreate what the holiday means for you, what it means for your family, what legacy you want to carry on in this energy. Just like that holiday came about, we can create, I mean, the theme of these holidays came about, we can create other themes of what that needs to look like for us with a blending of self care and also with the focus on speaking into existence a new reality. I'll talk a little bit about my teaching style. It's more of a channel. I move really fast when I talk because the words are coming uh, down and through me as a portal to deliver this message. The topic that the topic that I chose and the way that I framed it to speak about it may shift based on the frequency that is here among us, meaning our frequency and what's really needed. So if you see me stop and pause for a second, it's not that I forgot what I needed to say, it's that I'm listening. And we all have that capability. Each one of us has that capability. It's not something, it is something that's very special. Most of us just haven't tapped into it. So speaking, yeah, I asked, what did the topic go into? Leah, can you say the topic of this workshop? Were you able to put it in the chat? Not quite. Okay, that's fine. We're talking about divine speech and we're talking about the power of our tongue. And I got this image of the tongue because most of us don't realize that every time we speak, the frequency that we're speaking goes to these different organs. Just take a moment and look at this. And you can look this up on Chat GPT. I'm getting familiar with some of these sites, Gemini or Google. There are some things that they have to tell the truth about. So this one particular, we look at different parts of the tongue that are directly connected to our organs, our kidneys, our intestines, our pancreas, our spleen, our stomach, the liver, the heart, the left lung, and the right lung. The body is just so incredible. It's an incredible machine. And if we can get to know it a little bit better, then we would have a deeper conversation with it, and we would be able to move into a healing mode where we could remember how to heal ourselves and then create something different in our own personal lives and create something different on the planet. So I'm going to go down a list of, thank you for that, Aaliyah. We can leave it up for a few more minutes if folks want to take a picture of it and do your own research. But this is what this is what you're talking with. You used to hear the old people say word is bond. That meant that all you have is your word because your word creates your reality. So what comes out of your mouth, what comes across and through your tongue is omnifestation. I use omnifestation in place of manifestation. So that's the equivalent, is what you're experiencing. So it helps us to step out of a place of victimhood and step into a place of power when you realize that this sword wielding that I have between my teeth can create my reality. It also is very connected to our crown chakra, our brain, our thought process, but I'm not going to go into that today. I'm going to focus on the tongue. So I'm going to say a few statements, and I want you to write them down the best you can and just see which one resonates with you. Feel about which one resonates with you. So if you have a tongue, please raise your hand. You can start from there. That's great. Okay, now we're all in the house. It's wonderful.
Shay.
Okay, we're going
Oh,
to take
hold
the
on mute.
tongue. We can take the screen down now, Leah. I think it's slowing me down. I feel like I'm moving in slow motion. And just feel about what you have. Take a few notes. Don't whatever you do, don't think about this. Just feel about it. What have you used your tongue for in the last several years that you've been on the planet? Let's just take a few notes. Just write that down. We got to get to know this tongue. You may not like what comes up, and that's okay. Write it down because that's information. It's information. Okay, we're going to take a few more seconds on this one. What have you used your tongue for over the last few years that you've been on a planet? And note, I said few because we are very young in the scheme of life. Okay, now this might be a little uncomfortable, but uncomfortable is where change happens. So I'm really all about it. If you need to take your screen off to do this, you can do so. But I encourage you to leave your screen on. We're going to stick the tongue out and just kind of make a little turkey sound. Get that tongue going. There's trust me, there's a reason for this. I'll talk about it after, but we stick the tongue out. We just let it rip. Let it rip, and we can take the mutes off so we can all hear the frequency that we're creating. Okay. On your mark, get set, go. Okay. See, that wasn't so hard. We did it. We did it. Did you just close your mouth and feel the energy inside of your mouth right now? This tongue is an incredible wielding tool. Does everybody feel that energy, the frequency, the vibration? Nobody? Can we get a thumbs up or heart or a little something? Something. Okay, you feel it, right? Okay, we got Lorena over there. Hands up. There we go. Hearts. Yeah, you feel it. That is the power that we wake up with every morning. That's just one little piece of the power that we wake up every morning. Now we're going to decide what comes off of it. Because when you realize that your speech is connected to all those different organs, and it has an impact on your body, and it has an impact on your immediate family. It has an impact on the community. What you say, what you do has an impact on the globe. So this is like having a loaded, this is like having a sword at your side, how you choose to use it. You know, surgeon can be very careful, they can be careless. So just take note to notice when you wake up in the morning, acknowledge your tongue and decide how you're going. We can mute everyone again, please. Because what comes off of it is creating your reality. My mother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. And I understand now that was kind of a blend of metaphysics, even though it was coming from somewhere else. It was like, you're going to create something that you don't want to deal with. So just calm down, relax, and then speak. Um, so our tongue holds a frequency. The music that some of you may have been able to hear when you came on was a tongue cleanser. We have chakras in our tongue. They don't talk about that. The tongue chakra is connected to the throat chakra. I had to look that up. It was the Vishuddha. Some of you that know chakras really well may know that chakra is connected to the throat. And we also have one that's called the La Lana, and that one is directly on the palate. And so we've got a whole energy vortex in our mouth that is ready to create upon our demand. But most of the time we get caught up in the rhetoric of I can't, the rhetoric of I'm sick, there's just certain things that don't need to come off your tongue because they open portals into
foresight, and I keep lots of blessings upon you for.
Okay, thank you. Once you understand that that creates, then you're going to be very careful about what you speak, and you're going to be very careful about what you listen to. You'll start to hear things that just don't resonate with you anymore because you know what the outcome is. Tongue is frequency. So, what frequency is your tongue? Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10. Everybody has a different frequency. Just feel about what frequency your tongue is vibrating at based on your life experience, based on what you're going through now. The frequency can change based on what's happening with you. Some of you may be at a 2, some of you may be at a 5, some of you may be at an 8, some of you may be at a 10. Where what you're speaking, you're seeing it omnifest right in front of you in a very short time. I also want you just to make a note because I don't want to forget about this. In the morning, I anoint my tongue with a little bit of honey and a little bit of cayenne pepper. Why the honey? To keep it sweet. Why the cayenne? So that it'll never stop talking. It'll never stop speaking what it feels to be the truth. So I need to keep it activated. And the cayenne pepper is to move past the illusion of what I have created up to this point. And you can change that up. Some of you may use different herbs, atare. You may want to use lemon if you have an aversion to sweetness. You may want to use a piece of fruit. It just depends on what your body needs and what your own tongue is asking for. My grandmother used to make us eat dirt that kept us connected to the earth. You know, people laugh at that today. Ooh, I don't want to put any dirt in my mouth. Well, you know, newsflash, you do it every day. If you eat vegetables, you eat fruit, there's dirt on there, there's earth. So they help keep you grounded. And my grandmother had a little pouch that she carried around and was constantly anointing her tongue. I didn't know what she was doing, but she was keeping her speech in divine order. Okay, let's see. Got the chakras. Now, how many people already knew they had tongue chakras? Just a few. Yeah, just a few. I didn't know until I started doing the research on tongue. I knew that we had the throat chakra, but I didn't know that we had that Lalana. That Lana was new for me. Okay, chorus. Okay, dopamine. So I'm going to say a few words and a few phrases and just feel about what comes up for you because we'll have a discussion. Um, when you speak, do you look in the other person's eyes? When you speak, are you on automatic pilot or are you actually feeling into the other person? Have you ever sat silently when you witnessed a violent act or a racist act? Are your words on autopilot? How is your tongue contributing to your overall health? How is your tongue contributing to the overall wellness of humanity and what's currently happening on the planet? When you speak to someone, is it because you want something or because you genuinely care about that other person? Do you think before you speak? And these are on a scale of 1 to 10. Does your tongue provide pleasure for you in your environment? That isn't creating pleasure? Is your tongue providing liberation for you and your environment? Is your tongue providing pain for you and your environment? Is your tongue afraid? Is your tongue caged? Is your tongue in alignment with your heart? Are you becoming your mother with the words you say, or your father, or the person that raised you? What are the words you use to greet people? Were you allowed to speak freely as a child? Are you struggling with this exercise? To be honest, is your I love you real? Think about that one. So many of us, that's on automatic pilot. Where in your life is your tongue hiding? Is it in relationships, um, confrontation, at work? Is there something pending that you need to tell someone? And if your tongue is afraid, is it all your own fear? I'll clarify that with epigenetics, generational trauma. Sometimes we inherit a quiet tongue. And don't get me wrong, there's power in quiet, but it goes back to Audre Lorde, your silence will not protect you. There's some things that need to be spoken. What is one thing that you have not spoken that you need to say? Whether it be in your relationship with family, intimate relationships, work relationships, relationship with your doctor, relationship with your children. One of my mentors used to say, and this is, as I speak to you, it's a work in progress for myself as well. You only teach what you need to work on. Um, so one of my teachers used to say, heart speaks to heart and head speaks to head. You can tell when someone is not really present, or what they're saying is more rhetorical. So out of all these statements, there was one that really hit home. Is that true for everybody? Was there one thing that kind of resonated and kind of went a little bit deep? You know, that acupuncture sticks that needle a little bit deep and you really feel it. Okay. Did everybody have at least one that jumped out at them? That's going to be our conversation today. We're all teachers, we're all students. We're all teachers, we're all students, and we're all here because there's something in our soul that called us here. So we're going to take a moment and take the one that stood out to you. We're going to take about 3 minutes and just write about that one. And also I want to preface that this is a safe space, and it's also no judgment in this space around your words that come forth, whatever comes forth. A lot of people get stuck, they get activated. I don't like the word triggered. They get activated by the word hiding. I've been hiding some truth. I've been hiding, my tongue is hiding this truth. Take a few minutes and write about it, and then we're going to open up to share. Okay, we're going to take one more minute.
Did she email you your link when you first got on?
They can still hear me. I think I just lost the whole group. So is that it? No, that's not Zoom. Okay, I'll try to rejoin. You know what? I'll just rejoin the group because somehow computer's doing this ugly little thing. Okay. The whole group just disappeared.
We can still see and hear you.
Yes.
Okay, Queen is going to get their audio and video sorted out shortly. We can just remember
Just take mine
to
off and you can
think
use
of that
mine.
question to us the most and continue journaling while we wait for Queen. And I can see you there, Dean, in the photo. Can you see us? Okay. Please, while we have this intermission, you may want to take a bio break,
I don't know, honey. I guess.
refreshing your tea with a little more hot water.
Okay, we're back. We're back in business.
We're
But
back.
since that was offered, if folks need to do that, can we just go a show of hands if you need to leave? Okay, great. Okay. We maybe give that a couple minutes? Okay, we'll wait a couple minutes. Okay, we're going to jump back in. Um, and we're going to open up for discussion. Dean, can you please pull that door up? We're going to open up for discussion. Um, this is one of those things that kind of this topic that gets under the root. I recently went on a cruise with my family. We decided to just address all the skeletons in the closet, and we sat there for 3 hours on a cruise ship in the same spot, and we didn't get anywhere near finishing. So it's one of those things that we don't often slow down enough to even think about our tongue. We don't even think about it. It's there, it's chewing, it's moving, it's doing, it's speaking, it's helping us to breathe, it's doing all these fantastic things, but we don't take the time. A good, great author, actually, Montauk Chia. Anybody familiar with him? He's got some incredible work out there. I'll put his name in the chat where he breaks down all of the organs and their functions. The ears, the spleen, every organ has a function, not just to make your body function properly, but also they hold emotion and they hold intuitive knowing. And it's kind of like you ask a lot of people, how many, name me 10 parts of the body, and most people can't, but they can tell you the ingredients in a Snicker bar. So we have to come back in and be present with what's inside of us because it's absolutely incredible. Mon Tak Chia. He's an elder now. He's probably in his 90s and he's still teaching. But he just looked that name up. We'll come up with some powerful examples of how to connect with your body. He's got one called the nine, I believe, nine sacred sounds. And those sounds correspond to the different organs in your body. Okay, so we're going to open up and just share, have a dialogue. Looking at our time. Our time looks good. We've got a good 50 minutes left. And one other question I want you just to ponder is you might be a little bit higher percentage now that we've had a conversation or you've been listening, but what percentage of you is in your body right now, like consciously focused, you know, maximizing your creativity, your love, your joy, your passion, your visions? Is what percentage of you is connected to that part of yourself? Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Tiffany. Some people aren't even in the body, and that's okay. There's days I'm not in the body. 50% is high. Please don't anybody say 100 because you would have shed the mortal coil and gone on to the next dimension. Okay, if you're still in the flesh, that means there's work to do. Okay, 40. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some days 30. Yeah, 15. Thank you for that. Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you for that. The vulnerability, because there's no judgment around it. It's good for you to make that assessment. Sometimes fear takes up too much space. Self-doubt takes up too much space. Um, okay. Um, Self-doubt, shame, guilt, and a lot of this is inherited. And we perpetuate it with the tongue. So yeah, these are 20, a solid 28. There you go. That's right. Be proud of that 28%. Own it. Own it. Because if I've got, a tick in the back of my neck and I don't know about it and I can't acknowledge it, then I'm just kind of wandering out there, not knowing what I'm waking up with. What am I working with on a daily basis? I'm with you some days, Tiffany. It's a struggle to get in this body and move about the day with joy and enthusiasm and creativity. 39 is what I'm getting. Yeah, feel that because you don't want to think about it. You want to feel it. It's not cerebral. Your body will tell you what it is. Your body is very intelligent. Um, so yeah, just whatever you have, you own that 15%, own the 40%. Okay, now I'm connect definitely 30. There you go. That's 30 you can build on. Okay. That's 30. And even if you're not in the body, acknowledging that I'm not in the body is something to build on. Okay. It's the denial in the it's the denial or even the imposterism that keeps us in that delusion. 20%, yes, yes. Took me a while, but I feel 50%, 45%. So what we're doing now helps us to get deeper in and create more presence in the body. Um, it doesn't always feel good, but that's okay. That's okay because it definitely is taking us deeper into self. So that's a good thing. Great deep bow for all of these percentages. And like I said, there's no judgment. There's just only upliftment. So whether you were 15 or 80, there's work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. Okay. So thank you for that. And I'm going to open up. I'll start out just really briefly. What came up for me was um, just being present, more present. I have presence with people when I speak to them, but I'd like to go a little bit deeper, like to just cut everything off. I had a lady the other day. She says, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I said, "Oh, not too good today, but I'm showing up." And she said, "Oh, that's good." And so there was no dialogue there because she was on automatic pilot. I think if I had said I'm one foot on the other side, she probably would have said, "Oh, that's good." Because the presence was not there. So I realized that. And I also realized that when people are talking to me, if what I feel from them lines up with what they're saying, and that takes a lot of presence to be able to do that. It's like your mouth is moving, but your frequency is registering something different, and that's okay too. But I'd like to get better at that, and also be a part of that, the healing between the person that I'm having the conversation with. Let's pull in presence before we even start the conversation, and that's something that we're not taught to do in the West. We jump in, we jump out, but to be present it's an art in and of itself, and it takes a lot of work. Okay, so that is where I want to expand within myself, and then encompassing the person that I'm talking to, moving out of judgment, moving out of all these preconceived notions before I enter the conversation, and just kind of wipe the slate. This is a new moment. We've never been in conversation in this moment before. What do we want to create? Because so often, if there's a lot of judgment behind it, then the tongue repeats what the thoughts are. But if I can wipe it clean and then be present in the moment and say, this is a new day. Um, there's actually that could actually be fun, because that you step into that, the term omnipresent creativity. That means creativity with no limitations. It's like, yeah, this happened before, and we're here now. It's a new day. If that person is in alignment with that, you can create something different. So that's the one that stood out for me. And I'd love to pass it on, ask folks maybe just take a couple minutes to share just one thing that was channeled through that really stood out to you. Okay, just before we go, we got a huge lizard that just entered the room. Hey, and he's sticking his tongue out. See, that could almost bring me to tears. It is bringing me to tears, because the lizard is all about transformation. It's like, take that old shit off. Take it off. That's what we're doing. Who is that? Where are you? Oh, it's there. Oh, wow. You see that? And it's sticking its tongue out. Okay, see, that's divine order. That is, thank you for that, yeah, Thera. I appreciate you. Wow. Okay. Nature's just like that. They get to, when we're in tune and we're speaking in divine alignment, they will show up. They will show up. And even if you're out of alignment, they'll show up in different ways, sometimes scarier ways, to wake you up. So I give thanks to that reptile, beautiful reptile medicine that reminds us to shed, reminds us to speak our truth, tongue out, and he or she or they are all in this ceremony right now. So I'm appreciative of that. Okay, real time. Yes, shed. Okay, so we're gonna open it up and ask folks just to stay at maybe 1 or 2 minutes, 2 minutes max. Um, and if that feels too much for you, just take a deep breath. Normally, we provide an out. I really don't. That's really not my teaching style, because if there is fear behind it, I'm going to ask you to breathe through it and know that you're held, and know that you're supported, and know that there's no judgment here around what you have to share. Um, and hopefully you'll be able to speak. And if not, if you just are not able to do it, there may be someone on the call that you can on this call that you can connect with later and speak, or a family member. Okay, so we're going to jump in, and my teacher used to say, let's keep the floor hot so we don't have a lot of pauses, because I know that being in a human form, there's a lot to say.
Can we just jump
So we're
in,
going to open
Queen?
it
Is
up
that
and
okay?
just ask folks to stay at a couple minutes, please, and jump right in.
Is it okay if we jump in, Queen? Or do you want to
Maybe
queue of people?
popcorn, would that be helpful?
And we have
Popcorn's not
hands
really
raised as
my
well.
style either, but
Hmm.
Okay, I see hand raised, so I'm just gonna
is
go
someone
ahead.
talking right now?
Yes.
Aaliyah. Aaliyah's talking.
Excuse me, Dean.
Oh
Is
my
someone
god.
talking? Because I can't hear it on this
Oh
computer.
my. Okay.
Is someone speaking right now? I can't hear it at all.
Let's see.
They need an
Put it on.
elder-friendly computer. Oh,
Put
I
it
had
on.
it on mute. Dear God. Okay. All righty.
Excellent.
All righty. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Queen, the technology was doing the same thing that the lizard was doing.
We need a
You-
elder-friendly computer. I'm ready. I'm sorry. So sorry for that. Okay.
No worries. Aaliyah, do you want to call us in an order, or can we just jump in, or how do you feel about it?
Please jump in, Tiffany, and we're gonna start with you first, and then can you popcorn to the next raise hand?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So the thing that came up for me in the questions was trying to avoid verbal abuse, so muting my tongue. And so I wrote, my word is my reality. I'm not subject to judgment by people at UCI. Neither their sense of my Blackness or their ideas about appropriateness are my business. Whether they like my frequency, elevation, evolution, trajectory, or wisdom are not my business. I am confident in the God in me. I'm confident in my discerning tongue. I will not be compliant with corruption, foolishness, nonsense, or contempt of the divinity in the human and non human spirit. I will not bow down to get along. I was sent, and my record shows what I have become: dedicated and a reliable warrior, messenger, architect, builder, athlete, traveler, alchemist, poet, and sincerist.
Well, that is quite the covenant.
Woo!
And it should be written up as such and repeated every day. Extremely powerful. Thank you, Tiffany, for sharing that with us. And what I do want to say, and I'm not going to comment after everyone, but that took any sense of victimhood out of it. Because as long as you're waiting for somebody else to comply with what you need, you will never be free. So they claimed it, took it, claimed it unapologetically. Get over it. This is how it's going to unfold in my life. And so that is yours may look completely different, so there's no judgment. And if folks want to put a word in here in the chat that folks can take home with them, a piece of what was revealed through you, please do. Okay, we're going to jump right in.
Hi, everyone. Dina Dean here. Once again, thank you for this blessed exercise. I actually had more questions come up than answers. I really enjoyed the litany of questions that came down and the connection to epigenetics. And also, for me, there's another feeling that's brewing even past DNA in terms of how it's influencing us because we're in a rapid time vortex. So when you said is my tongue building up, I also said is my tongue tearing down? Is my silence tearing down by not speaking? The untapped potential, sometimes the term that you've used, the untapped dowry, it cannot come into fruition in the same way. And that came to me during the exercise. And I said, a tongue limpia as we end 2025. What a blessed thing. What kind of speech or non-speech do I want to take into 2026? So I like the idea of the physical tongue scraping, but also the accountability that came with that. Has my tongue built up? And if my tongue tore down, to have accountability on that wavelength as well. Also, for me, saying less, I'm finding is sometimes saying more. I'm finding that I'm less fighting to get into conversations. I'm fighting less to be heard. I'm repeating myself less. And some of my closest loved ones remind me to actually not talk so loud. And so it's kind of like a tongue management that's happening as well. And so I was not thinking of any of this as we go into 2026. So a big thank you for wanting to share, because it reminds me that our story is sacred. What we say or don't say should be intentional, and to lean towards the arc of building up, especially in times like these. Thank you. And next in the queue is Lorena.
Hi, I'm Lorena or Lorena. Um, I raised my hand as soon as I can because I just like to get this stuff out of the way because I get so nervous. But actually the last three questions were kind of like grouped for me. There's definitely something that has been weighing down on me for the last few years that I haven't told anybody. And when looking into that, I realized that the two fears that I have about it, one of them is not mine at all because my core self, my soul self, understands that there's no shame associated with that. But I have this huge fear of telling other people because I feel ashamed of something that I did when I was a child, like, which I know is not mine. It's just society putting their shit on me. So that was really powerful for me to realize that. And I also realized through my journaling that I struggle to use my tongue, my voice, my throat chakra when I need to ask for help, when I'm trying to avoid confrontation, and when I'm trying to prevent rejection. And when journaling about all three of those, I also realize that they're all kind of can all also be connected to worthiness too, because I don't like getting rejected because it makes me feel not good enough. But I also don't like to ask for help because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I'm in this position because of myself. I shouldn't have to ask for help, so I'm just not enough, right? And with confrontation, there is this energetic thing that I'm really afraid of, which might be a little bit separate, especially since childhood, having to be in confrontational situations that energetically there's too much for me. But also I'm afraid that again, I'm doing something wrong, and that's why you're mad. And so then again, I'm not good enough, right? So I thought it was interesting how they can all be connected to this feeling of not being enough. So it's just more information for me to explore, and I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Mhm. Thank you, Lorena.
Can we popcorn to Angie?
Mhm.
Hello. Um, yeah, I raised my hand because I was nervous too.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, we're all here holding you, Angie. We're here. We got you.
I came today because I've been in a really hard place, which I think actually stems from the tongue, actually. Like, I'm in kind of a health thing right now that has made me really think about life, suffering, you know, being in a suffering state. So, what got brought up was, do you think before you speak? And it was, I kind of brought up emotions of like yes and no. So I feel like I've been tailoring my words for years due to being like, I owned a business and I had to be the leader. And so I was always thinking before I spoke to not offend, to be liked by others all the time. And the reason I started this business was to be a voice for others because I had a voice that I had been cultivating. And I feel like I lost my voice during those years. And I'm finally like out of it, so I need to like relearn and find my tongue again. So, I was always having to edit to please others because editing made people like me, like my business. So then it was, business success or financial success. And then I would go home and use my tongue to complain or speak negatively or judge others because, you know, maybe I thought that they were judging me. But really I was just judging myself with my tongue all the time. So in some instances I overthought before I spoke, not being in touch with like my heart or my gut. And then other instances I spoke from fear, anger, frustration, too fast. And then I would regret what I said and beat myself up because I wasn't speaking from my heart, my gut in the first place. But I mean, really, thinking about all this does make me think about my childhood and, like how my generational trauma, because my mom and my lineage definitely has a lot. And and I realized that from my childhood, I was always tailoring my words for my mom, to like get approval because she was so hard and it was so hard to please her. And yeah, so that's what got brought up.
Thank you, Angie.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for the vulnerability.
Aya would be next.
Okay.
Hello, Alaboro boy, yay, yeah, queen. Um, for me, the my video cut out, and when I came back into the room, the question was, what am I not speaking out? And that seems to be a theme of late as I learn and my brain reprograms with discernment. And so I struggle with wanting to speak out when I'm in pain over, let's say, an action or a lack of communication from someone, and I want to communicate so that I can get clarification, but then my brain is like, but we create our own reality, and the pain is a lesson, and all of these things, which stops me from speaking because I it's almost like I feel like I need to, how did I say it? I don't want to cause discomfort in the person causing me pain because I also understand that the pain is a gift and a lesson. But it's all very confusing when you're in the lesson of learning that, when your brain is reprogramming in that. So, you know, I, I feel wounded or I feel hurt or I feel abandoned, betrayed, and all of those feelings. But then I don't want to talk to the person that is in the co-creation of that with me because my spiritual self is like, oh, well, they're not doing anything wrong. It's not their fault. They're giving you a gift and all of these things. So I'm just confused. I'm confused as to when to speak, and I'm confused as to when to not speak. And it's weighing heavy in my heart because I want clarification as to why the occurrences are happening or why the things are happening. And also, no one owes you an explanation, but it would be nice to have one. So I think I'm just currently afraid to use my tongue because I don't want to cause disturbances or discomfort. But in not using my tongue, I'm causing myself disturbances and discomfort. That's it.
Thank you, Thera. Can we call on Maria? Maria.
Maria, thank you. What came up to me was this message: I am the author of my reality. And that came from, there's a question about doctors and not speaking up to doctors. I've been going to a lot of Western medicine doctors and dentists this year. And I recently went to a dentist who was horrible. She was horrible. And I didn't say anything. And I just sat there and I couldn't even look at her and I couldn't say anything. And then I went to make an appointment. I was like, why did I do that? Why would I go? I know that I will not let this woman touch me ever again. And I got home and I started to file like a formal complaint to the dental board, and my computer just shut down. And I told my son about it, and he said, "Mom, I practice speaking freely with him because I grew up. Children should be seen, not heard." So I told him this, and he said, "Mom, why would you spend your time doing that?" But I realized that when it comes to authority figures, I don't speak. Everyone else, I have no problem speaking to, but authority, I don't normally speak. And that author, someone who I think can write what needs to be done for me. I have a hard time speaking, but then I didn't resolve. I didn't make another appointment. And so this also took me on this realm of, in my dream world, there's a lot of things that I'm not sure if there are things that I dealt with either in my dream awake or my dream asleep. And this is me and my tongue, or this is realizing that I usually use my hands, this other throat chakra piece, but my tongue I don't use. And that is the distinction between, my dream awake and my dream asleep. So yeah, I'm sitting with authority and taking back that power of being author. So thank you for this.
Thank you, Maria. I just need to do this real quick because I'm listening and what they're saying, because that happened to me in the dental chair. Mouth is open, I'm all exposed, and you're doing things that don't feel good to me. Stop now. They wanted me to share that with you because that can happen in other areas. Touch, hugs, kisses on the face with lipstick. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Little things. It's the things like that. But you don't get to come inside of me and violate me and then have me pay for it. And doctors don't know everything. They know very little because they're still in this. And that's no pun on any doctor, but we're all learning. We're all learning. Okay, we'll just keep it going. This is great. The level of vulnerability and the power in that vulnerability is really strength. Does everybody have, do you have 10 minutes to go over? Everybody, those that can't, that's okay. Please look in the chat and see the Salbona. Salbona is from, Tiffany, you know this one, from South Africa. And it's a higher frequency rather than to say hi. Sometimes I look at people when they say hi to me. Hi there. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with you? I mean, that's just me. I can't feel that. Sawubona. Yabo sawubona. And when it was first said to me, I almost broke down in tears because I could feel it on the inside. I could feel it. This person is really connected to me. And that other thing, I can't, is it's not getting in. So that's probably, I would encourage everybody to tap into your indigeneity, and we all have indigeneity, no matter what ethnicity we are. Tap in and find that the way people used to speak to each other, and invite that into your life. You know, there's one more other thing, Aaliyah, if you can look up Ho'oponopono and put it in here, because I just feel like that medicine. Some of you may know about Ho'oponopono. It helps you to heal your heart. And when you heal your heart, you can have access to your tongue, because you're going to be loving yourself so much and forgiving yourself for anything that you may have done, knowingly or unknowingly. And it's a big, so if you could just put that in the chat, Lee, I appreciate it. Okay. Let's see, we've got Cheyenne.
Yes, hello all. Amazing workshop. Um, what was really coming up for me was, I feel like similar to what some other people were saying about holding the tongue to avoid confrontation, or in my um I guess experience for self advocacy, in the way of like someone doing something or saying something to me, and instead I'm like, oh, like I know the power of my tongue. I've started to move more purposefully with the spells that I weave with it, and so I don't want to create anger within me or speak light to, disappointment, and fear of creating more of that, in the way of like, oh, I'm tired. Like I've stopped saying that as much, recognizing that that can, you know, increase the amount of tiredness that I allow myself to fall into. And so, just really balancing that, and what was coming up for me is, yes, it is important to be mindful for with what you speak with your tongue, but it is also important to be authentic, to your being. You know, if I'm not feeling well, speak that to release the power it holds over you. So it's really that balance between that, and then also, like, do I take care of my tongue? Do I take care of my voice? Do I hold it in its highest form, and do I love it? And yeah, just how do I take care of it? I don't think I do, or I don't think that I've known how to, maybe, which is really why I was appreciative of seeing, of the honey and the dirt and the tongue scraper, and really kind of like, how do I physically, what physical rituals can I start to do that can bring me back to my balance? Um, so yeah, just some food for thought that I will definitely be digesting and expanding on even more. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, I think Trinity is next.
Mhm.
Greetings. So I think I raised my hand after I think I was
Yes.
the last person. I think I'm not.
Okay,
I think
just
everybody has. I think everybody has a different. But if everybody's
yeah,
okay, I'll go ahead and go.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So I was driving around while I was listening, and because I needed to get up, and I woke up this morning going, oh my God, I need some green stuff in my body. I need something green, something other than what I've been eating, and that's a way of taking care of my tongue. I love food. So one of the questions when you the question of what have you been doing with your tongue? I'm driving down the street. I'm like, eating great food. I'm like, yes, I love food. I love food. It just brought in this flood of like joy because I absolutely positively love food and all the different iterations and different cultures and the different flavors and the way that people like have figured out how to combine the spices that just sends just pure joy through me. I love food. I didn't realize that. I mean, that's really just over the last couple. That's really been since COVID, to be honest with you. Like for COVID, for me, it heightened every part of my tongue as far as food is concerned. Okay. So there was that piece, and then there was the question of were you allowed to speak as a child? And again, I'm driving down the street and I'm like, no, I wasn't, right? I was not allowed to have an opinion. I wasn't allowed to share a thought. I wasn't allowed to be in conversation. I wasn't allowed, right? Be there, but you're there, but not seen. And so I felt it in my body. Like I don't always say what, because when I did actually say, right, if I did have an opinion, there were severe consequences, right? And I can feel like the sadness in my body, like what happened when I would say something or speak a truth, not to hurt you, not to make you feel bad, but actually here's what's happening. Here's what I see, you know? And so I'm not taking that into 2026, right? I would prefer not to take that into 2026 and really open this space of just allowing, like if I speak my truth and uh as Baba would say, right, face it with courage. Open it up and face it with courage. Whatever I have to say, right? I have enough people in my life that if I say something and it doesn't come out quite right, I trust that the people who are meant to stay in my life will stay in my life because I trust that the people that I circle with, trust that I would not try to come from a harmful place, right? And I know that a lot of us are walking with so much stuff, and I'm speaking for myself, walking with so much stuff that sometimes it just comes out sideways. It just like it just hits this wall, hits that wall, and then like barf. And yeah, so those are the things I appreciate hearing that there's a chakra, and I didn't know that. And so again, I felt that when Queen, when you said that, I felt, oh, and it's connected to the throat chakra.
Mm.
Okay, wow. Like I'm gonna have to do some research. What was the name of that again? Yeah,
I'll
started with
put
an
it in the
L.
chat. I'll put it in
Okay,
the chat. Mhm.
yeah. So thank you so much for this uh, uh, wealth and depth of information and wisdom. I am complete.
Yeah. Thank you, Trinity.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Can you hear me okay? No?
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
I think so.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all. I shade to that and everyone that has shared before me. So the thing that hit me, struck a chord, I would say, was where's your tongue hiding? I was like, ooh, okay, let me think about that. And what came up for me was, well, actually, the first thing I had flashes of where it was hiding. Like I saw it over my life. Like, oh shoot, this is deep. But then I saw it switch, and it's like, but I see how it was. I have been empowering myself and like liberating my tongue at the same time. And I'm getting chilled right now. I'm going through a process that is so deep. I am. It's like a quantum leap. It's like a rebirthing. It's so much I can't even put it into words. But in this energy and frequency that I'm in, it's like I'm really rising. I've risen, not even I'm there. I've risen to the CEO level in like my business, and it's like boom, like I'm like okay, like I knew he was here, but it's like now the timeline has matched, and I synced up with it. So that was deep. Um,
I also noticed that where exactly it's been hiding though in the relationships, like to be more specific, it was more in romantic relationships and like not speaking up in those and what was it? Like not expressing my needs sometimes. And then I think about the root of all of that. And I can say as a child, like I was spoken for. So it made me have a quiet tongue. And I was painfully shy, I call it, when I was younger. But I would say African dance has liberated me. Like now I'm completely like open and free. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It's a gift. And then one thing while I was still processing while people were talking, but a few things that came up was like this discernment with my tongue. Like knowing when to speak and when to like hold my energy though. It's the energy thing for me. And it's like I teach radical self-care. So for me, like that a self-care practice. Sometimes questions don't need to be answered. Sometimes people don't deserve or get my energy in my response. Like that's just what it is. Okay. So that's been a big lesson. And the last thing that came through for me was I need to sing more. That is something I've been really shy about, but I think it's connected to this tongue piece. And like I'm a dancer, I dance professionally. And with African dance, like I have no problem. Most people would be shy to dancing with their body in front of people, but I don't have that. Mine is the singing, and so I'm like, okay, this is really an invitation to like be free with that and step into that more. So I'm excited for next year because I definitely want to. This has invited me to like create and get into that space of expression more. So thank you. And by the way, I recently just bought this ring. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's like the throat shot. And I was like, I don't know why I was called to it, but I'm like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Throat chakra. It's time. It's time to release and open it up. I'm
Mm.
complete, by the way. And then I think who was next after me? I think it might have been Tessa, if I read that right.
Tessa. Mhm.
Tessa.
Tessa. Thank you.
Merhaba yeah, Queen. And my
Appreciate.
sister, yeah, Trinity. Oh, yeah, Queen, were you going to speak?
No, 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 no. I'm happy to
Okay,
hear your voice,
okay.
Tessa.
So, and yeah, Trinity, my sister, one time when you spoke out from your gut, when I really needed somebody to speak for me, you changed the course of my life for real. So please continue doing that. Please continue doing that. I just want you to know that you really, really changed the course of my life. So thank you for that. And this entire presentation, like every point hits, and this like my tongue actually physically hurts for many years now, which is all related. But uh, I was raised like what I figured out as a child is that love is accepting other people's wounds and compensating for them because everybody had so much pain, especially the people raising me and the elders and the I was raised by my grandparents. Everybody carried so much pain. It's the Russian culture, and they had very harsh lives, and so you know how it works with generational stuff. You know, people give stuff to the children because they've had tough lives. So something in their heads runs that the children are supposed to be protected by knowing how to deal with tough stuff. So, and I figured out that my job was to carry their pain because I didn't know what else to do. And you know, it looked normal and everything, but that's what I was doing all my life because I somehow decided, and I guess there were circumstances that helped that, but I decided that other people's pain is more important to me than my own because I always felt strong. I have a lot of energy. I can carry it and I'm spiritual and whatnot. And I was just, that was my default mechanism. Okay, so people are around me, they're in pain, they're aggressive about it, even subconsciously. And what do? I have to take it because I feel for them. And I didn't realize that I was actually getting possessed by other people's pain, like, like by the spirit. And I didn't even know I was doing that. I was feeling for them instead of feeling for me all the time. And I pretty much lived my life like that. And I know how to fight for others like a dog. I fight for others like a dog. And I'm a writer and I'm a singer. So I write for, to protect people, and I stood up for people. I open my mouth when somebody is being hurt. Like, I don't even think I do that, whatever the consequence. But for myself, I'm so terrified that people will be mad, and that people do. And, like some of us here witnessed how that works. So it's because my feeling for other people is genuine. So immediately somebody's in pain, it kicks in. Okay, I have to help. I have to save. I have to provide the energy for them to feel better about themselves. And it got to the point where, I was sick and I was dying, literally. So, and the spirit has been telling me, sometimes pleasantly, sometimes not, that I essentially cannot continue doing that no matter what. So even if I'm the only person in the world with my own truth, even if absolutely nobody understands, I still have to stick to my truth and not replace it with other people's opinion, because it just doesn't work. I'll die. So I am where right now I'm essentially learning what I guess small children learn, how, okay, my space is my space. No matter what, doesn't matter who thinks what, my space is my space. And I'm trying to, and succeeding actually at that. I realize that by me doing the work for other people, I don't help anybody. And that sometimes my work is to be, I don't want to say tough, but at least internally determined about what my truth is. And if other people need to walk a journey, I will pray for healing. I always pray for healing, for understanding. And my job is to walk between different cultures and opinions and politics and whatnot. And it's a tough spot because everybody's mad. But I'm learning, and the spirit is telling me, like in no uncertain terms, that if I don't hold my space, then I'm not helping anybody. And people may get a relief, people may like me more, it may get easier, like sweeter in the short term, but it'll still bite me in the ass, pardon my language. It'll still come. So I feel a lot better now, but my tongue is still hurting. And again, I write bravely for others. I fight enemies, I defeat enemies, I do all that very fiercely. But for myself, I'm learning like a baby, like how to even, like what my desire is, what I actually want. And my heart knows very well what I want. But when I start speaking my truth, everybody's mad. Anyway, I go. So I have to choose words. I do that. It started from love because I really want to like communicate and all that. And it ended up being completely eaten. So now I'm trying to figure out how to do both, how to be diplomatic and how to be at the same time loyal to myself. And honestly, my answer is prayer. I pray to the mothers. I pray for healing. I pray for healing of the entire world all the time, because we'll all be happier with that. And there's so many more things. Have other people on the call, but so much had me in tears. And especially, I don't see very well. So I think Angie Vance, your talk. Thank you so much for being vulnerable, because you some of what you said really was me. Like not everything, but some of it was really me. And sister, will prevail. Will heal. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tessa. And if you feel connected to someone, you might want to inbox and exchange numbers. Um, we want to keep going, but we have a little bit of logistics, because in order to maintain our funding, they like to actually see that we actually did this workshop and just didn't put it down on paper. So if everyone is okay with a little screenshot, um, I don't like that we have to do this, but that's what keeps our sustainability. So if everyone's okay with it, and if folks could come off camera, if they can't, we can just do a quick screenshot and then keep on. But they'll say, oh, there's real people, we can keep funding. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Leah, can you make the screenshot happen really quickly? And then we're going to go right over to Rebecca. How do you do the screenshot thing? Just use your own camera and take it?
I can take it.
Oh, can you? Okay, yes.
All right, everyone. So, if you could please, just for a moment, come on camera if you're open to it, but just know this is completely optional. We will use this image on our social media. And so, if you want to change your name right now to just your initials, you're also welcome to do that. So, I'm just going to give people a moment if they want to change names, come on or off camera. And then let me line up this screenshot. All right, y'all. So we're
Okay.
gonna do in I'm gonna say three, two, one, and then I'm gonna take the screenshot. So if you could please like do heart hands or whatever you like, big smiles. All right. So three, two, and one. All right, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Anissa. Thank you. And we'll jump right back in to, and yeah, just I don't like these disruptions, but we have to do these things. So I'd like to go right to Rebecca, who's had their hand up for a while.
Hi. I don't know, like right away, like when as soon as I was like, I raised my hand, like I already started feeling like anxious. Like I don't know why, but like every time like I have to talk in front of like people or like it's just like hard for me and like I right away feel anxious. So like I think I was just like I need to do this because I feel like it's something that I need to work on. But yeah, I don't know, something like called me to like join the Zoom because I feel like um sorry, it's just like been really hard for me to like connect with people for some reason. Like I feel like I've been isolating myself a lot and like I don't know, I guess it's like I'm like scared to be like vulnerable and
Mhm.
like I don't know, it's something that it's like I want like my soul like wants to connect with people but like it just feels like overwhelming and then like I just like shut down and I feel like it's like something that I want to work on like this year and like for the next year is like how to like I don't know how to like be vulnerable and like trust people because I feel like
Mhm.
hard. So yeah, I feel like that like really like, connected to me when you said like what am I not speaking out? I feel like yeah, it's just like hard to connect with others and like I want to and like I want to connect but it's hard. So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you, Becca. That's sure a first big start. And are you open if folks want to inbox you to, because we're 35 people on this call, so we don't want you to feel isolated or by yourself. If there's someone on the call that would like to reach out to you, are you open to that? We can start shifting that energy. You've already started shifting it by speaking. Okay, it's already breaking down. Are you open to
Yeah,
possible? Okay.
I'm
Okay, thank you so much. So if there's anyone on the call, because we want things to, to keep happening, that you may have been there and can resonate with what Rebecca's talking about and may be able to share some words of support, please inbox them. Thank you. Okay, and let's see, we have Yolanda.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, would you like to speak?
I did have my hand up and I took it down, but I will speak.
Thank you.
It's basically what really hit home for me was not being able to freely speak as a child. Um, and how that has affected my life. So I'm 58 years old and I'm still trying to heal that like not even being able to show anger on our faces, not being able to, talk about feeling betrayed or being angry or anything like that with any of the adults. It was if you had a need, you could ask for a need. But really the only acceptable emotion from us was happiness. We could only express if we were happy, not if we were sad, not if we were angry. None of our feelings were acceptable. Um, and so being seen and not heard was really the norm. And how that showed up in my life was not standing up for myself, especially in romantic relationships. Um, just really not knowing how to say no and not knowing how to say no when it comes to your body. I'm still healing from that.
Mhm.
I mean, consciously every day working on it. So yeah, I have allowed a lot of violation. And in that realization, it's as I call those people forth and tell them what it is that they did, and then forgive them for what they've done, I realized that I really need to forgive me. Like that forgiveness is not for them, it's for me. So having my tongue forgive me for allowing, because I allowed it. Even though at the time I didn't know I could say no, but I allowed it. And so that shame that I carry, the guilt that I carried, the forgiveness is for me. So that's what I had to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yolanda, for that vulnerability. I'm sure most everybody was able to relate to that at some point. And the whole Ho'oponopono speaks to your self-forgiveness. So please get it in the chat. It's a mantra that takes you directly to your heart. To have compassion with yourself for decisions that you may have made unknowingly or knowingly and just not able to shift that energy at the time. But I feel like you spoke a challenge that all of humanity, especially women-born women, and probably lots of men who were not allowed to show feelings have had that same issue. So thank you. I'm glad I called you out. So we got time for a couple more. We're gonna go into for the till, um, maybe a little bit after. But if there's someone who is afraid to speak and would like to say something before we get off the call, please just put your hand up or just come off the mic and speak.
Really quickly, Queen, some of our participants are having to go. I just
Okay.
wanted to interject. Please donate and support, especially if you enjoyed this session, to the Earth Lodge via Venmo. I have the link in the chat, venmo.com, Earth Lodge Center, or PayPal, paypal.me Earth Lodge Center. I'm going to ask you to fill out an evaluation form. I've put it in the chat as well. Let us know how you felt about the presentation. Let us know how your growth has shifted and how you're growing with us. And we are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And I'll let you return, Queen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Aaliyah. Yeah, all these little um, commercials that we have help keep our funding going. So please do give the feedback. And there's so many other offerings as was put in the chat. We have so many. We have Sound Bowl tomorrow. We have Sangha tomorrow with Melis, Sound Bowl with Dr. Tanya and Sage. So we have a lot of offerings to help massage us through this this next season, both political and holiday. I can feel that there is someone on this call that needs to say, there we go. Come on, Alexis. I see you reaching for the, okay.
You saw me. I am on my earbuds, so I don't know if people can hear me okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, what are you not saying is the one that really stuck with me. And I realize I am not calling out the ways in which I'm changing and the ways that I have new boundaries that I didn't have before. Um, and I'm not calling it out because I'm afraid of making people angry or disappointing them. There's a part of me that's afraid of losing them, but then there's this other part of me that feels like I can't cling to something that's not aligned anymore. You know, maybe the season for those people to be in my life has passed. And it's just really hard because I was taught to be loyal. And there's this sense that, you know, if I've been friends with you for almost 30 years, how can I just walk away from that? Or like with family. Um, and at the same time, there I have taken those steps with some people, like my alcoholic father, and there's this amazing sense of liberation that like I don't have to allow that toxic behavior in my life. And um, I get to set a boundary. I get to say no. All of what people have been saying, I'm like writing down frantically. I'm like, yes, I resonate, I resonate, I resonate. I was brought up, um, I was always getting in trouble for saying stuff. And um, the thing my mom said to me, it felt like the most was, if you don't have something good to say, then don't say anything. Just shut me down. And I don't want those. I want to unlearn those lessons. I do not want to keep that going. I don't like, I want to know how to say no. And yeah, so like connecting as well, like this is what I learned in childhood. This is what I learned from the people who I'm trying to set boundaries with. I learned to let them, I learned to allow myself to be hurt. I learned that it's not okay to have boundaries. And so that's what I'm working on unlearning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you for sharing. And if there's anyone that, you folks want to connect with and inbox and say, hey, I've got that down on how to say no, I can share some tidbits with you if you're open to that. Folks can inbox you directly.
Yeah.
Yes. Jill, is there anything you'd like to share?
Sure. Thank you for having me. This is my first time joining this group, and I've really enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
I think the thing that resonated with me most was is there something pending that you need to tell somebody? And, what came up for me is that I think there's not only the telling, but then there's sort of the standing behind what you said. I feel like I can sort of share and speak what's on my mind, but if there's then a discomfort that lingers or a boundary that needs to be held, I have to make sure it's a feeling of just making sure that my actions are in the same relationship as what I'm speaking. And I sometimes have a harder time with that. Um, and it's a people pleasing tendency. It's a wanting to maintain the relationships. Um, so yeah, that's it was very helpful for me because I feel like I don't have things unsaid, but I do have things that I'm not then aligning with after I've said them. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And again, if you're open to anybody's open to sharing or someone inboxing that may have had the same situation and found a way to move past it, are you open? If you're open,
Yeah,
just yeah, folks, just inbox.
absolutely.
Yeah, if you said I can help with that. So thank you so much. I know Alex. I think I saw Alex's hand up. Is Alex still here?
I'm here. I don't know if
Oh,
there's another Alex, but I'm here. Hello.
yeah.
I,
Okay.
I didn't raise my hand, I don't think, but
Okay.
what resonated for me were the first two questions, which were like, do you look at people when you talk to them? And
Hmm.
do you look people in the eye? And also, do you check in with people as you're talking? And what I thought about was kind of how most of the conversations that I have are like I'm sitting in a car and I'm looking straight ahead at the road, and the
Hmm.
other person is in the passenger seat or they're driving. I'm on the phone, so I can't see who I'm talking to. I'm at work and the cameras are off, so like I'm just kind of like talking into the void. Um, and yeah, those are the ones that resonated for me. And earlier this week, I had to kind of check myself because at work, I have a certain level of authority. And I realized that like I was speaking to people in a really unempathetic way, which I think I learned just like to protect myself because I used to have like a lot of people that would take advantage of the fact that I was like like I would try really hard to make sure people were okay. And then I kind of had to stop doing that because people were kind of exploiting that. Um, and now I'm kind of like, yeah, I think the pendulum swung like too far to the other side. And I'm just kind of like speaking from on high, going like, no, you know what I mean? Like Oz. Like I'm like, so that's what came up for me. That's what I'm kind of reflecting on as we're talking. Thank you. Thank you
Hmm.
for creating this space. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. And we've got L Bill and Hope, Rainey, Christina. Is there anything either of you would like to say? We've got maybe even this 30 seconds to get your voice in if you would like to share.
Hi, I'm Christina.
Hi.
Um, I cannot come off cannot come off
Hi,
the
everybody.
video.
Oh, we have
L
one.
Bell
That's
here.
a, wait. We have Christina speaking, and then you'll be next,
Oh,
Elder. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, that's
sorry.
okay. No, that's fine, Christina. We're listening.
Okay, she's okay. I met her at Blue. But anyway, it's good to see you again, Queen. Because I missed Blue this year. But I can't come off because I'm just comfortable right now and it's just offensive right now. So the thing that spoke for me or spoke to me was it was three. Is my tongue creating pleasure, liberation, and pain for me and my environment? I guess that depends on who you're asking. But for me, it has done all of those things. And I'm in a space where I'm trying to see why. Like, so I wrote like my biggest thing was why. And I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't like I like to go deeper
Hmm.
and and then come back to it. So that's why I've been quiet.
Hmm.
But thank you. Thank you for holding space for all of us.
Yes. Thank you, Christina, for speaking. Yes, it is a process, and I respect that it takes time. It does take time. I would just to plug this really quick before we go, after we get off of the call, it'd be great to just sit, be still, have a cup of tea if you don't have to rush off somewhere, maybe even do a little smudging, because there was a lot released today. Write about it and just be gentle with yourself. try not to go to TikTok and, that's like an escape route. Just kind of put the phone down and just kind of be with all that came up just now. Okay, we have L Bell.
Hi, everybody. So many of the things came up for me. A majority, everyone touched on the one about being able to speak as a child, and I definitely didn't have those privileges. But one that I harnessed, it was how do I utilize my tongue to heal my community and myself? And I utilize it in that way. I was not able to speak as a child, and now I work with children who are majority pre-verbal and are don't even have the skills to speak as a child. And I utilize my empathy with that to translate language for them in the ways in which they are able to communicate, just not verbally. And so the power of the voice is a really big deal. I'm currently working with an 18-year-old, and she was choking, and she could not tell me she was choking, and I thought she was laughing. This happened last week. After I got over my fear, I thought about how grateful I am to have the ability to utilize my voice and to get my needs met and to be safe. Literally, not having the ability to utilize your voice can impact your safety and your ability to protect yourself and advocate for yourself. And so I utilize my trauma in not being able to speak to serve my community and speak for those that are unable to speak for themselves. But I also recognize how grateful I am to have the privilege of my voice and that I don't have to use multimodal forms of communication to say what I need to say. And I think in that, as an adult, it's made my voice more powerful. It's made me understand the power that is in my words and in my tongue and how to use my voice. Another one that stood out for me, if we have time, is do I look in people's eyes when I talk to them? And I do not. And the other one is, am I present in the conversation or am I kind of like just going off script? And I go off script often. When you grow up with a certain amount of trauma, it is very easy to fall into the script, performative behaviors that assisted you as a tool for survival in your childhood. And I have to be very intentional. Sometimes, even when talking to people who I admire or who I would want to mentor me, sometimes they'll say a word and it'll bring me back to the conversation and then remind me to open my ears, open my mind, and receive and be present in this conversation that I'm having right now. But learning the tools of detachment and compartmentalization, it is very easy for me to just have a conversation and not even remember what the conversation was about afterwards because I'm just going through the motions. So I'm grateful for that question because I'm working really, really hard to be more intentional with my relationships, especially the meaningful ones. And I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm having conversations. And that is all.
Thank you so much, Bell. This is definitely something to think about. We have a whole generation that are either selective mutes or can't speak. So I think that when you said that, I just thought about the trauma of a generation who was not able to speak, and now children are not able to speak or they're selecting not to speak. That's on the rise, selective mute. And we have, I think we have two more left. Hope.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, Queen.
Hey, Hope,
Hi,
happy
Dean. Hi, Leah.
birthday.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. It's so nice to see and hear everybody on the call. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Earth Lodge, for offering this amazing, helpful series. I particularly liked, Queen, what you said about downloading information and being a conduit and the invitation for all of us to tap in. Thank you for that. I'm going to be sitting with that one. And I also liked when you gave us the example of stop and the power in your voice. Reminded me of my own power, that we all have the ability to set boundaries at any time and any place. So that was really helpful. And I also really appreciate everybody's shares. I've been absorbing and just it helps me feel less alone and to remind me that um it's okay to struggle, and just I feel solidarity that we're all here learning together. And I also really appreciate the comment about, I'm going to be really vulnerable, but folks who have mentioned that as a child, they haven't been able to express the full range of emotions, particularly the person that shared, I could only express happiness as a child. Um, and I see that tendency in myself as a parent, that I have a hard time sometimes with my kids' anger. And so thank you for being vulnerable. And that reminds me that I want to do a better job of welcoming every emotion. I kind of have the belief like, oh yeah, like kids should just be happy. And anyways, that's something that I need to work on. So I appreciate those shares. And I think that's it. I hope to make it to more workshops, and thank you so much again, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you so much. And I believe we have Rainy and Essence.
Rain shared that they're unable to,
Oh,
they're
Rain.
recovering from their throat,
Okay.
but posted in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Should we share Rainey's verse or can I tap in? Well,
What was that comment?
I don't know. I guess I didn't know if we wanted to read Rainey's, but I can.
Yes, I don't see. Yes, please.
Okay, I can read it then. It says, Hi, Ken. My throat is needing some rest as I'm recovering from losing my voice, but I'm receiving and present with you all of the vulnerability and magic shared in the space, feeling called to receive today.
Thank you, Rainey.
Thanks, Rainey.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing and giving me the strength to share right now. So I missed a little bit of the 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna feel a little bit of what I came into. And one of them was like genetically, Queen, you were speaking about genetically, how sometimes we come into a quiet space because of different family, I would say do's and don'ts, or maybe family values that were on the do's list and the don'ts list that we subconsciously learned. So I think that was something that I definitely had learned. And I can remember vividly like just disagreeing one time with my sibling who's 5 years older than me. It's the two of us. And that was like a shift in at 13 years old where, oh wow, this person speaks up. Like as I was seen differently in that dynamic. And I always consistently have to, I think, show myself differently. Or I recently came into the awareness about a year ago that I am in the practice of always unknowingly trying to prove myself. So that is something that I'm getting out of the habit of. And also not blaming my parents for like, even though like there's a lot of responsibility, it's like, what can I be accountable for in my life? And that's why I didn't even know how to come on without complaining about something. So I'm just trying to, I think, just understand a little bit more. So like Hope was saying, absorbing. And then you asked, where's the tongue hiding? Or what has the tongue been doing? I think I'll share that one because on Thursday, I was chosen as a coordinator for my job to be able to be interviewed for my whole program. So the fact that had that opportunity, I didn't feel comfortable with it, but I still chose to do it because I was scared to do it. So being in front of a camera and also sharing and not thinking that I have what to say to share, still doing it, I'm assuming brought me closer to comfort. So I liked a bit about like not going into 2026 to do this, but also as a 25-year-old, like not going into this rest of the 25th year doing whatever I don't want to do. So
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing. And there are lots of folks that have walked through what you're moving through right now. So if you're open to shares, we can inbox. I love the intergenerational piece here, and so many young people, their tongues have basically been stripped, and so they're coming in with a tongue with thorns on it, which is required in order to get to the other side sometimes. So it's good that you're in touch, you're awake, and you're activated to move forward. So thank you for speaking.
thank you.
And I think our last person is Ebony. Ebony, would you like to share something?
Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you called me.
Yeah.
Hi.
We missed you, Ebony. You took
Hi,
off,
miss y'all too.
got married and everything.
Hi, this is my wife Chantel, aka Missy. Um, what stuck out to me, I think, is the same for everybody. The first question that I heard that I was like, "Oh no," was about were you able to speak out as a child? And I wasn't. It was like you stay in a child's place. Hold on, my cat is scratching me. Okay. You stay in a child's place and you don't ask questions, you do what you're told. You're Christian, you listen to the Bible, you do what it says, and that's it. There was like no room for me to have my own thoughts. And when I did, there were repercussions for it. It was like, you don't talk back, you just do what we say. And so it's taken me a long time to be able to look people in the eye when I talk to them, not cover my mouth when I speak to people, and just be able to like walk in my truth and in who I am and be comfortable with that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ebony. There's been so much about the quietness, especially. Well, it goes across all races, but specifically with African American presence, it was an extension of the enslavement period, where you were not able to speak because if you spoke too loud, you cried, you showed emotion, you could be sold, whipped. And so what would happen is the parents of the child, the enslaved child, would whip them because that's what they learned, to silence them. And they would silence them, and that way they would be able to keep them in the family. So that dynamic has continued to play, except we called it whipping. It wasn't a spanking, not in the Black community. It was a whipping, and literally to go out and mimic the colonizers' way to go get a branch from a tree, peel all the leaves. And some of you may be old enough to get the tail end of those whippings. Spit, uh, take all the leaves off, and literally it was a lashing. And it usually happened right till you wait till you get in the bathtub, so they could get you really good. So that was, it's now you know, there's a new activation awakening to that is a capitulation of what was done during the enslavement period. So a lot of African American parenting styles have shifted because they became aware of where that came from. So the silence was real. You could literally be hit for speaking. So for where I came from, it was just seen as um, I can't think of the word, but anyway, it was sacrilegious to speak to that point. And they would give you a certain look, and you knew, you couldn't even decide what you wanted at McDonald's. My dad would decide what everybody was going to eat. So I mean, it's really we've come a long way, and I'm sure in other traditions, Tessa spoke um, about her tradition of suppression, and so I'm sure it happened in many other cultures, but it's specifically in the African American culture that is where the silencing and the beatings came from. So I wanted to give context to that, and that's a whole nother unlearning and you know, thinking of positive ways to discipline rather than whipping. So I love something that Hope said. She says, I have to understand that, you know, my children are, she didn't, I'm paraphrasing, are little people and they get angry. And a lot of that anger is epigenetics, the word. You can look that up. It's just a fancy word for generational trauma. It's inherited, you know. They didn't just wake up with all that anger, they inherited it. So just our speaking helps to shift that frequency of generational trauma simply by speaking. So my, you know, I'm encouraging folks to smudge yourself afterwards, and then before you leave, think about. I think Cheyenne spoke about, you know, what is the ritual? The number one ritual is to be quiet before you speak. Start that ritual and really pay attention to what your response is. You know, no, I don't want you to go any further on my teeth. I don't like the way your etiquette. It's not working for me. And I picked that one, Maria, because that was mine. I ended up in bed for because the doctor accidentally slipped, and I knew that he'd made a mistake and hit the wrong spot to numb, and I mean, like in my early 20s, I said never again. So now I'm very vocal with doctors and rarely like to go to them. I'm more of a naturopath person, somewhere where I can speak. If I can't speak and be heard, then you know I'll let you do lab work, you could run a test, and then I'll go somewhere else. Take all that and go somewhere else. So just be mindful that can become your ritual is to pause. And Trinity is doing a wonderful offering during healing in the holidays on breathing. You know, because we're you know, we hold the breath and there's no breath to make a decision. So just stay connected to your breath and pause. And if you tell someone, you know what, let me get back to you on that. And really, you know, they don't need to know your process, but let me get back to you. You know, we're oftentimes, yeah. I mean, you look at how I look saying that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even in the body. So, yeah, and it's okay to be able to think for yourself and make decisions for yourself. You know, it's all about getting more fully in the body, percentage wise, and taking up more space in our bodies. You know, the hell with taking up space outside. Can we take up some space in here first? And then, you know, the space will accommodate your needs on the outside. So, yeah, just take care of yourself when we leave. Hydrate. Tomorrow's offering both are in person. So if you're out of state, I'm not sure if they're going to stream. Dean, you might be able to talk about that. They'll be streaming, but we have many more offerings online if you're not able to come through. And we just look forward to how the tongue begins to unfold within you. Just be mindful of it. Give yourself 30 days of a mantra that you create, not 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 reading, but speaking. Let the tongue speak and challenge yourself. You know, if you have the pause and there's something on rhetoric that you've been a part of, you know, I really don't feel good today. I do that with people all the time in cashiers. You know, I did the cashier. She said, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "You know, I'm not feeling well today." You know what? Me either. So we both get to take the mask down and just be real for a moment. It's okay. Customer service is still a real human being, you know. And then we ended up laughing at the end of it. This was at the car dealership yesterday. Um, so just be mindful and you know, maybe we can come together and have another conversation in a couple months and see how the tongue has expanded, see how things have uh, manifested. And I just saw a person pop up here. Am I seeing things? I think it was on your screen, Ebony. It looked like a gentleman in the background.
No, this is
No?
me, her, and the cat.
Oh, okay. Well, we got some
I mean, it
folks.
might be a spirit back here. Let me know what you see.
Yeah, I mean, some ancestors jumped in. Yeah, it is possible. I just saw a man with a blue shirt. So, anyway, on that note, we're stepping into our clairsentient abilities, which is clairaudience, clairvoyance, um, you know, and the abilities where we can transcend the five senses. Um, Ebony could really elaborate on that. She's what they call a star seed. And I mentioned that because we are all star seeds and we just forgot it. We forgot that we have the capacity to heal ourselves and create a different reality, which will have a rippling impact across the globe. You want to clean something up in the White House, get your thoughts clear, and start sending energy that way. It will make an impact right from where you are. So, but we start with self first. I like to um, ask for special prayer for Angie Evans, who is going through some physical challenges right now that do not belong to them at all. They do not belong to her. They're passing through. So I'd like for you to write that down, put that in your prayer to get energy going her way, because in Africa, when someone's sick, everybody gets around and chants around them, and it's been proven. They'll go test whatever the cancer was. It's like 30% gone after about 7 hours of chanting. So we have the capacity and the community here to help heal one another. So I'm not trying to put you out there, Angie, but I know that she has just been suffering tremendously on many different levels. So um, yeah, we have all that we need right here on this page. And if there's something that people need to have prayer for, you can put it in the chat before we close up. And that way we have your name. We can put it on our altars and start sending some energy towards you. We'll take just a moment for that. We did put in the chat, as anyone put a request, and we did put a chat in the chat. The video, the audio that was playing is a tongue balancer. It balances the chakras in the tongue, and we also had the tongue meridian, so you can see when you speak the impact of the organs that your speech will have on your organs if it's not in alignment with what your heart is saying. Okay, well, nobody put in there for, oh, please pray. Okay, Hope is asking for prayer. I definitely want it, so put me on your prayer list. Tessa, okay, my tongue is a prayer to wash. Thank you for that, Tessa. Okay, well, I'm having some, what is that? Not abandonment, but goodbye anxiety. But I'm going to have to pull myself away because we have more to do today. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the medicine that you walk with. Thank you for the magic. And just remember to give it to yourself before you give it to anybody else. And we are worthy. We are worthy. We wouldn't have these bodies if we weren't worthy. So we are the sun, we are the moon. I'm going to close with an affirmation that came from Dr. Alfred Lagan, who was one of the first African American elders to teach the Theosophy Society, which was Madame Blavatsky takes credit for it, but it was really way before Madame Blavatsky. But he brought it in to uh, to LA. He was based in on not Crenshaw, Martin Luther King, and it was called the Aquarian Spiritual Center. And they bombed it twice, and he rebuilt every single time. So it was Dr. And Mrs. Alfred Lagan. I can't remember her name, but he wrote this. It's an activation. So if you feel it, I use the word black, and black speaks to the mystery, the unseen in all of us. It doesn't have anything to do with ethnicity. It talks about the blackness, that black hole inside of us that has been untapped resources that we have to awaken to them. And if you want to close your eyes and take the activation in, you can if you want to keep them open. But it's called the Serapis, Serapis meditation, and it has definitely been a game changer for me. After that, I'm gonna, if there's not any other announcements that need to be made, I'll go ahead and take off after the meditation. Okay. So let's just take a deep breath.
Queen, there may be one more announcement.
Okay. Okay.
Did we make the announcement about our resource guide?
Oh.
Alrighty, so I'm going to drop the resource guide link in the chat. Resources for toys, food, clothes, emergency housing, wellness services. I'll be dropping the link in the chat. Thank you for staying.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Aaliyah, for putting that resource guide together. Um, we also have a first aid resource guide as well that I'd like to also make available. But it just helps us to have immediate access to things that pertain to us in our community and a reference point. Thank you so much. I'm going to go right into the meditation. I am black as the night from which the light of the new day descends. I am the plant, the seed, the plant, and the flower. I am the anointed of the earth. I am that I am. I am the blended colors of life which light the bridge into the new age. I am the past, the present, and the future. I am the anointed of the cosmos. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am in perfect alignment simply by making a mental shift. I am the sun, the moon, the the rivers, the ocean, the stars, the cosmos. I am all that there is. Right inside of me, it is the spirit that animates all of this life force that animates me, walks me, talks me, breathes me, and is the very essence and the truth of who and what I am. I realign myself with that truth. I speak from that truth. I eat from that truth. I sleep from that truth. I have my awareness and my being from that place, which is omnipresent, which has no obstacle. From that single spark of the monad that is a spark of perfection. I animate that, I activate that into the places and spaces that have forgotten that I am a whole and perfectly aligned, healthy, holistic being right now. I allow that to reverberate through my cells. I allow that to reverberate through my mind. I allow that to reverberate through my thought process. I allow that to reverberate to my heart, down to the soles of my feet. I am perfect, whole, and complete in this very moment. Anything that is in opposition for that is now decomposing and fertilizing the new thoughts that are coming forth from my tongue, the new creation that is coming forth from my tongue. I am made new in this moment. There are no obstacles that I cannot compost to create new and fertile soil. So I call forth in this winter solstice season that we are embarking upon a new me, a physical and mental and emotional rebirthing of myself, a reincarnation of myself in this physical form. I don't need to die, but this mortal coil will be shed as the reptile came and showed us, as the cat who has 9 lives scratched us. I step into that frequency, knowing that I am whole and I am enough and I am perfectly healed in this moment. And so we breathe that in. We breathe that in. We breathe it in so that we can activate the memory of all that was just spoken as an actual reality in our lives at this very moment. And so it is, and so we are, and so be it. Ashe.
Ashe, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
Queen.
so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Irfan.
much.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you very much,
So,
Queen.
Want to say bye,
thank
Ruby?
you for that tech support,
Bye,
Lee. Thank you,
Ruby.
Anissa.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Think it's just waiting for the last people to go.